Om yogis, and welcome to this practice today with the raven. The raven is a symbol of light and dark, of magic and mystery, and is associated with different things according to different cultures, like everything. But today we're just going to explore the relationship between death and rebirth through the magic of the raven, which I guess is real magic, is this ability to let things go so something new can arise. So we'll start in Shavasana. Shava means dead. It means corpse. Dead pose. Corpse pose. And so just lying on your back, we come into relaxation, but really before we can study Shavasana as a pose in itself, which I will put a recording on that does that a little bit more in depth. Before we can study relaxation, we must understand the opposite contraction of tension, and this is how the tense and release exercise works in yoga, where we tense parts of the body to release them. We feel a deeper release. It's often the case that when we do yoga, we take a Shavasana at the start of the practice and then one at the end. And just to feel the difference, really, that we've kind of revved the engine a little bit and we're prepared to relax, which is kind of a strange concept for a lot of people, because we think we just drop into relaxation, and for the lucky few that is true, but for most of us, it takes some preparation. So lying on your back here, let's sort of cool the engine, so to speak. And we'll use this exercise to explore muscle tension, but also to explore the release of muscle tension and the release and how enormous amounts of energy are kind of wasted through muscle and mental tension. Okay, so lying on your back, take your left leg about 5 centimeters away from the floor. Hover your left leg away from the floor and tense every muscle in the left leg and the left foot as best you can. Really tense. Really squeeze that leg. Create some tension. Create that tension for yourself. Inhale into it and then exhale, release it. Let's do that on the other side. Create some tension. Inhale into it. Really squeeze like crazy, and exhale, release that. Lovely. Lift your hips, you guys, and squeeze your buttocks now. Squeeze your buttocks like there was no tomorrow. Create as much tension as you possibly can in your body, and then exhale, release, and just shift your buttocks out of your way so your sacrum can come back to the mat. Super nice. Then lift both arms just about 5 centimeters away from the floor. So make tight fists and squeeze your arms. So the opposite to what some of us would say would happen in a regular yoga practice, like all about relaxation and stretching. We create this tension in order to release. When you're ready, release that. Lovely. And then lift your chest a little bit and sort of squeeze into your chest. So push your chest forward. Stretch your chest and create some tension here. And exhale, release that. Lovely. Now squeeze your shoulders up towards your ears. Really create some tension. Exhale, release. Take a couple of breaths here just to check that you have released that tension. Just a little interesting exploration here. Now push your shoulders away from your ears. And release that. And gently turn your head from side to side. Just releasing and relaxing through the neck. And now come back to center and squeeze all of your facial muscles in towards your nose. So squeeze your face in as if you're sucking a lemon almost, like really sour. Squeeze as much as you can. Really don't hold back. And then exhale, release that. Just feel that release through the face. And stick out your tongue and send your eyes skyward. So look up, beyond you, behind you. And exhale, release that. You might want to wipe your chin. And just take a moment lying here in Shavasana. I'm obsessed with opposites. I'm obsessed with polarity, and you can see that the opposite contraction to relaxation is necessary sometimes. The more we work, the more we relax. And the more we relax, the more we can work. So in order to come alive, really, we enter into relationship with death, with what is gone, what is old, what is dark. The further into our shadow we dare to tread, the more we understand and respect our own light and our own life. We're like a bouncing ball, really. We have to go down to go up. The more we can go down, the more we can go up. So we take Shavasana here before we start the physical aspect of the practice, just to rest before we can rise. We enter into death willingly. We let things go willingly. We let ourselves go. Because it's in there that we find the absolute surrender and the deepest of rest. It's through experiences of death that we come closer to life. Beautiful. When you're ready, just take a stretch here. And then come to seated posture and start to feel your spirit body, if you like, everything that is subtle. See if you can feel the more subtle layers of yourself here. Your spirit body is completely perforated, really. Everything can pass through. Everything breathes. Feel your subtlety with a beginner's mind, as if you've never felt that level of subtlety before. Feel your body brand new, which in many ways it is. Every day a different body, a brand new body after Shavasana. We let go to come back. Every morning we wake up after deep sleep. And we know how good it feels after a deep sleep. Ask anyone who's got insomnia, how difficult it is to come to feel life in the absence of rest and deep sleep and surrender. Let's come to cat-cow, you guys. Inhaling, opening your chest, and exhaling, bowing in. Through this posture, just through this movement, we can explore the differences between that openness of heart and that arising energy and that subsiding, looking in, surrendering energy. Lovely, and then come back to downward facing dog. And after that Shavasana, I know that was a little bit of an active Shavasana, but we're just bringing ourselves back slowly, feeling our subtlety, exploring the body within the body and the body around the body, all the sensations that arise and then disappear back into the void of the body. That birth, life, death cycle happening all of the time inside of us. Come to the front of your mat, you guys, when you're ready. Inhale halfway. Exhale all the way in. Inhale all the way up. And exhale all the way down. Take a few rounds of Surya Namaskar. Inhale halfway. Exhale, fold in. Inhale all the way up. Let's do a few half salutations first. Exhale all the way down. Inhale halfway. Exhale all the way in. Inhale, come to stand. Exhale all the way down. Inhale halfway, one more like this. Exhale, fold in. Inhale all the way up. Now exhale all the way down. Inhale halfway. Exhale, chaturanga, lower to the ground. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe here. Feeling everything that is subtle inside of you arising, living and subsiding. Inhale, bend both knees, look forward. Exhale, front of mat. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold on in. Inhale all the way up to standing. Exhale, fold back in. Inhale halfway. Exhale, chaturanga, lower to the ground. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, bend both knees, look forward. Exhale, front of mat. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold on in. Inhale all the way up. Exhale all the way down. Inhale halfway. Exhale, chaturanga, lower to the ground. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Breathing, exploring the subtlety of the self. Exploring the density of the self too. Feel your body as if brand new, which in many ways it always is. Inhale, bend both knees, look forward. Exhale, front of mat. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold on in. Inhale, all the way to stand. Exhale, release the arms. Inhale, bend both knees, Utkatasana. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, Chaturanga, lower to the mat. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Ground down through the left heel, bring your right foot forward. Warrior one, inhale. On a long exhale, come back through Chaturanga to the mat. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Bring your left foot forward now. Inhale, warrior one. And exhale, Chaturanga to the ground. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. After all of that movement, we enter into the void a little bit with downward facing dog. It becomes a resting pose. Bend both knees, inhale, look forward. Exhale, front of mat. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold on in. Bend both knees, inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, come to stand. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, fold on in. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, Chaturanga to the mat. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Your right foot is coming through. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, all the way down to the mat, Chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. The left foot is coming through. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, back to the mat, Chaturanga to the floor. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Bend both knees, inhale, look forward. Exhale, front of mat. Inhale halfway. Exhale, fold on in. Bend both knees. Inhale, Utkatasana, chair pose. Exhale, release. Last round. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, fold on in. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, Chaturanga, lower to the ground. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Bring your right foot through for warrior one. Inhale as you come up. Exhale all the way down to the ground, Chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Left foot is coming forward. A long inhale brings us to warrior one. A slow exhale takes us back, Chaturanga, to the mat. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe. And enter into the void inside of yourself, the space inside of yourself. We go into the void to come out the other side. Inhale, bend both knees, look forward. Exhale, front of mat. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold on in. Bend both knees. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, release. Let's inhale, take the arms up and over the head. Exhale, fold on in. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, back to Chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. In downward facing dog, just for a moment, just see if there's any contraction of the mind, any unnecessary tension of even muscle or mental tension that is pulling energy out of you that you can resource back. And we're going to bring the right foot through and walk your hands over to the left side of your mat. Turn your feet to parallel, toes face forward, maybe ever so slightly in. Inhale, halfway. Exhale into a wide-legged fold. Just introspecting deeply into the muscles of your legs, just feeling the muscles of your legs, entering into the self, or just entering into the sensation of the pose or the movement of breath within the pose. And it's another aspect of this raven power, is to have this ability to enter deeply into the self, and to go through the self, to come out and relate to everything else through this space of the self. It generates and encourages responsibility. We become very responsive through these kinds of practices, instead of reactive when we're just living outside of ourselves, reacting. So in your practice today, let's get a little bit more responsive. Explore this wide-legged fold that many of you probably have done many times before. Use this pose and the sensations in this pose to drop a little deeper into yourself. Inhale halfway. Exhale, fold on in again. Bring your hands to your hips, and when you're ready, inhale, come all the way up. Stepping to the front of your mat here, inhale, the arms lift. Exhale, fold on in. Go inside of yourself as you inhale halfway. And exhale, chaturanga to the ground. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Bring your right foot forward again, and we'll come into warrior two this time. And then take your warrior two into side angle pose here. Exploring the spirit body, the body within the body. Entering a little deeper into the self. From side angle pose, just bring your hands over your front knee and come back into a low lunge, but with the back knee up. And then from here, press back, downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, let's step the right foot through again. Inhale, come all the way up and prepare your body for triangle, and as you exhale, come down into triangle pose. From triangle, come back into warrior two on the same side. From warrior two, come into side angle. From side angle, come into a low lunge with the back knee up. Shift back to plank. Lower chaturanga. As you inhale, up dog or cobra. As you exhale, downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, the left foot is coming forward. Warrior two. Add more breath, find more subtlety. Warrior two takes us to side angle pose. Side angle pose takes us into a low lunge with the back knee up. Low lunge takes us into downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, the left foot comes forward again, and we come rise on up from here. Then prepare your feet for triangle, and as you exhale, come down into triangle on the other side. From triangle, rise on up, take warrior two. Warrior two takes us into side angle pose. Squaring off, lowering the hands, side angle pose takes us into that low lunge. Low lunge takes us into chaturanga, which takes us to the floor. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, bend both knees, look forward. Come to the front of your mat. Separate your feet, hook onto your big toes, take Padangusthasana, forward fold. Inhale halfway, release your fingers from your toes. Exhale, come into Malasana, yogic squat. Malasana takes us into crow pose. Of course, crow pose. From crow pose, come back into Malasana. Your hands are in prayer here. We're going to twist to the right. Bring your right hand to the floor on the right side and stretch up with the left arm. Twisting Malasana pose here. If you want, you can drop the hands down from here and take crow, a side crow. I forget the actual name of this pose, but you know what I mean. And then come out of that, unravel yourself, twist to the other side. Your right hand is coming down and your left arm is reaching behind you. And from here you can take a side crow. Coming back to center when you're ready. Unravel yourself. Gently straighten your legs, fold forward. Take your right foot back. Come into a runner's lunge here. The back knee is raised. And if appropriate, you can twist your body to the right. And then from here, come back to plank. Exhale, chaturanga to the floor. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, bend both knees, look forward. Exhale, front of mat. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold on in. Taking your left foot back from this folded position. Hands come to the ground. Come into runner's lunge. Lift your hands. Hands come to prayer here. And as you exhale, you can twist to the left. Feeling the subtlety of the self, you guys. Coming back to downward facing dog from here. Shift forward into plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, bend both knees, front of mat on your next exhale. Then inhale halfway. Exhale, fold on in and place your hands underneath your feet now, Padangusthasana. Inhale halfway, exhale, fold on in. Release your hands. Hands to hips now as you inhale, rise on up. Exhale all the way down again. Inhale halfway. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let's bring the left foot forward, you guys, and walk your hands over to the right side of your mat for a wide-legged fold. We purposely repeat the posture that we started with, just so we can feel the difference. The only way to study relaxation and softness is to experience the opposite contraction of effort and strength. This is what the yogis were talking about when they said stiram sukham asanam. Strength and sweetness in everything, in posture. Inhale halfway here. Exhale, fold a little deeper. Feel the strength of your legs. It supports the upper body, the torso, to hang out here and experience this relaxation. Relax the back of your neck. Relax your head. Both hands come to the hips, and as you inhale, slowly come on up. Exhale, step to the front of your mat. Let's take your right foot up for tree pose here. You're the raven now that is sitting in the tree. And then from your tree, keep the right foot lifted, but come out of the tree pose and then take that right foot behind you. Bend into the left knee a little bit, bend into the left leg, and come into like a curtsy pose through the lower body. Extend your arms wide. Become the raven now, soaring above everything. Above this patterning of death for rebirth, letting go for something new, the difficulties of change, allow yourself to soar on the currents of change. in this pose. Rise above it all. Beautiful. Then bring your hands back to prayer. Rise on up. Swap your legs so your left foot is coming up now for tree on the other side. Sit in that tree for a little while. And keeping that left knee lifted, bring the left leg behind the right leg and bend into the legs so it's like you're curtsying, and then separate your arms wide. It's this bodily wisdom that shows us whatever is pulling us down through the lower body can help us soar through the upper body. Whatever is holding us down, the lower self, the exploration of the lower self can come from the higher self and vice versa. There's always this polarity in play. From here, coming back to prayer position, unravel your legs, take your legs hip width apart and fold forward. Hold your elbows and rest. We have this fear of release, this fear of surrender, this fear of letting go, this fear of the death and dying process. And quite often it can be unfounded. Quite often there is a sense of thank goodness within the release process. Come back to downward facing dog, you guys. Introspect, come into the void, the spaciousness inside of the self. Then walk your hands back to your feet and hold your elbows the other way, fold in again. Bend your knees, you guys. Come into chair pose, Utkatasana. Let's twist to the right in chair pose. Come back to center. Twist to the left. Come back to center, fold forward. Walk your hands back to downward facing dog. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, front of mat. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, sit down, kneel down. We're going to take the arms out in front of us. Bring your left arm under right for eagle arms. Feel how the wrap around of the arms creates a stretch through the back, the opposite contraction. Contraction as a natural aspect of expansion. Death as a natural part of life. Unravel yourself, you guys. Take your arms wide again, wide like the raven. Feel yourself wide enough to hold it all polarities. Okay, bring your arms out in front of you. Take your right arm under your left. Take eagle arms on the other side. Feel how this bind creates freedom through the back. And this is really what I'm talking about in this entire class today, how before we can study one thing, we must first experience the other. Beautiful. Release that, come back into child's pose. I know for me, when I first started to practice yoga, it was the Shavasana that took me back again and again and again and again, because I experienced myself so spacious and so relaxed after all of that effort. I thought I was going for a physical workout, when really I guess my higher self was taking me to yoga to experience relaxation for possibly the first time in my life. I always thought relaxing was sitting in front of the TV with a packet of biscuits and a cup of tea. But that is just consuming, taking in, where real relaxation comes from this death process of letting go. There is a relief in that. I am letting go. Press back to downward facing dog, you guys. Bring your right foot through. Drop your left knee down, Anjaneyasana, lifting the arms. Then come back to downward facing dog and swap the legs. Anjaneyasana on the other side, so the left foot is forward. Low lunge, back knee is down. Press back to downward facing dog. Inhale here. As you exhale, come forward to kneeling again. And you can double fold your mat to give your knees some support here as you take camel pose here. Bring your hands to your sacrum. Open up the front of your body gently and carefully. And this can be your pose for the day, or if you're feeling open, you can bring the hands to the feet. For that back bend, breathe here. Inhale here. Exhale, come out. Sit on your heels, hero pose. Breathing in. Breathing out. Let's inhale now for 5 breaths. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Notice how much more difficult it is to hold out the retention. Hold out the exhalation. Surrender the breath rather than hold in the life. Let's come back to camel. Take camel again. In whatever way works for you today. Notice how difficult this is too, opening up to life. And it's all difficult and it's all easy. Inhale here, exhale, come on out of that. Sit back on your heels. We'll do this 5 breaths again. Notice how as you hold in the retention, you're inhaling and holding in life. And as you hold out the retention at the end of the exhale, you're surrendering to that release, dying process inside of us all. Let's inhale for 5 breaths. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale. Hold. And come back to your regular breathing. Let's come back into camel one last time. Open up through the upper body, through the shoulders. Surrender where you can surrender. And then exhale. Come on out of that, sit on your heels. Let's inhale and exhale a few times here before we come back into 5 breaths. Inhale. Hold in, hold life in, hold prana in. Exhale, surrender all the way down to the lower belly. Feel pelvic floor contract if you like. And then hold that surrender out. There's no life in us. We're letting go. Inhale now, feel the deliciousness of this next inhalation. Because of that process, because of that restriction, we appreciate the breath. Beautiful. Come down to lie on your backs, you guys, and hug your knees in towards your chest. And grab a strap here and hook the strap around your right foot. You're stretching into the right leg. Allowing what can surrender to surrender. Notice how difficult it is to surrender. And how much tension this difficulty creates. This vicious circle. And when we do surrender, how good it feels. Just take your right leg out to your right side. And we can explore how good this stretch feels now after moving the body in many different ways in that practice. And how different that would feel if we just did this when we get up in the morning, when we were stiff. You know, how we create relaxation in the body through our actions. Bring the leg back to center, you guys. Swap your hands, hold your strap in your left hand now, and bring the leg across the body. Beautiful, and stretch your leg back to center. And pull the leg a little more towards you now. You're creating the conditions in your life all of the time for relaxation. You're creating conditions all of the time in your life for surrender and release. Swap your legs over, you guys. Left leg is rising, stretching. Use the weight of your shoulders to facilitate the stretch. Let your hips ground. And let's bring that leg now out to the left side. And then bring the leg back to center and across the body. If you find stiffness and tension in the body here, notice that we only pass through the difficulty so we can feel more light, we can feel enlightened. That actually it's through the difficult sensations in the body, if we allow them to rise up and release, that we find ease and relaxation. Coming back to center when you're ready. And taking another stretch on this side. This is what death or rebirth is. We enter into darkness so that we can hold more light. We enter into difficulties so that we can be enlightened by it. It's not like darkness and difficulty for difficulty's sake. We're not kind of going back to our teenage years and becoming gothic. Or are we? I don't know. It all goes full circle in the end, you guys. So be careful what I say there. Let's hug both knees in, you guys. I used to love the darkness when I was younger. I used to love the misery, the drama, the pain of it all. And for me there was a joy in that. Weird kid. Okay, from here let's come into Supta Baddha Konasana. Soles of the feet together, knees go wide. And who is older than the night? Only chaos before light, before order, before creation, before all things. Before all things there is darkness. In her we rest, in her we dream, in her we are refreshed. And from the darkness we rise again to a new life. Mystery comes in the dark, and so do magic and prophecy. So welcome in the shadows of your life. Wrap yourself in dark wings so that you can soar again. We pass through the darkness so that we can hold more light. We go into the depths of ourselves so that we can come out again enlightened, compassionate, understanding. And then just stretch into the legs, so the body is kind of straight. But we're just stretching into the legs. And then release that. And take your legs a little wider than hip width apart. Certainly no narrower than hip width. And maybe if you need to move your buttocks out of the way, you can do that. If you need a bolster, if there's any tension in your lower back, pop a bolster under your knees. And just turn your palms towards the ceiling and take your arms away from your body slightly. And as you feel that flattening of the sacrum into the floor, see if you can kind of maneuver your back so your shoulder blades feel like heavy, flat stones, like river stones, sinking, heavying. And become aware of the weight in the limbs. We're setting the weight of the arms and the legs. Allow the legs to be heavy. We work with the legs first. Heavy through the legs. And we're kind of, imagine that you're emptying out any old energy and fatigue in your legs out through your Achilles tendons and the backs of your ankles. So just let the legs drain. Any old energy draining out of the legs. And feel the weight of your legs like heavy stones dropping into the floor. As the legs drop, the sacrum drops. There's a widening and a dropping energetically of the reproductive organs, or the organs of the pelvis. And just travel your attention to your navel center, to your belly button, and feel the rise and fall of your belly. Gentle rise and fall. We're not trying to do anything to the breath. Just let that rise and fall just encourage more relaxation in the body. And imagine the sands of prana moving sort of grain by grain through the front body into the back body. It's like an hourglass. The sands of prana move back and settle, settling back towards the kidneys. Now start to heavy again through the arms. Become aware of your arms. And heavy through the bones in your arms, especially the upper arm bones. As you allow your upper arms to heavy, it creates a release in the shoulders. And empty out energetically, empty out what needs to go. Empty out through the channels of your arms into the tips of your fingers. So it's like you're just letting yourself kind of drain out any old energy, anything that you don't need. And the arms and the legs feel so heavy now that even if you wanted to move them, there's a feeling that you couldn't. It's so heavy. Now we're moving to the back of the body. We become aware of the back ribs. Feel the back ribs drop into the floor and widening. And the heaviness in your arms initiate a dropping back and a widening of the lungs. And the prana is moving back now. Energy is moving back. Withdrawing in, letting go. And held within the prana is also the consciousness. Your consciousness moves back. Let's go a little more. Feel your throat and your jaw soft. Feel the back of your throat softening. And the back of your skull, imagine that it kind of spreads. There's more room. It widens and drops. And now come to your forehead. Feel the bone in your forehead. Imagine this starts to float. There's a lightness that comes from that heaviness in the back of the head. And the brain can move back. And the eyes recede back into the sockets. As the eyes move back, the cheekbones start to float and spread. The floating cheekbones. And the ears and the face are soft and open. The brain is receding back, away from the skull, away from the forehead, and the temples start to widen. And the brain can move away from the sides of the skull. There's this feeling of space for the brain. And as this happens, the center of the brain becomes very, very still. And the awareness rests within that still point. And as the awareness rests there, naturally the tides of the breath begin to lengthen and deepen. Any residual holding is released. As we drop into relaxation a little further, a little deeper. And as we let go, spaces are created in the body. Where there was tension, there is now space. And the prana penetrates into this space. And all our boundaries become very spacious. And we feel the skin on the back of the body spreading and widening. And the mind is absorbed by the serenity of the body. And shava, meaning corpse. If our thoughts start to bubble up, we can speak to them as if we are in death. we can transcend every worry, every anxiety in this deep rest, answering any questions or whatever is bubbling up. With I am at rest, I am at peace. This doesn't concern me because I am in death, in Shava. I am at rest. When we find those moments of deep rest, and just make a little mental note of how it feels. It's a little acknowledgement. And so we're imprinting the feeling of rest. We're imprinting the feeling of rest inside of ourselves. The experience of rest starts to integrate into our being. And on so many levels we start to absorb and understand deep rest. And the more we do this, the easier it is to come back to it. So lying down in Shavasana or meditation, letting yourself heavy, dropping your mind into your heart, leaning back into yourself, letting go of any tension. Release all pain and fear from the heart. Sense, see or feel yourself traveling through a tunnel. As slowly or as quickly as comes to you, let it come to you. And as you move through this tunnel, you pass through all the colors of the rainbow. Beautiful, perfect color. As you pass through each color, without overthinking anything, without trying to make anything happen, you notice the color's effect upon your energy. And pass first through red, beautiful, perfect red. then orange, beautiful, perfect orange. Then yellow, beautiful, perfect yellow. Then green, beautiful, perfect green. Then blue, beautiful, perfect blue. Then indigo, beautiful, perfect indigo. Then violet, beautiful, perfect violet. And white light, pure, infinite, omnipresent white light. You're coming to the end of the tunnel. And go into the void. All colours are gone, and you pass through an area of no colour. You are beginning to experience the nothingness of the void. With nothing all around you, get a sense of your own energy. What is your energy like? Now let yourself and all of your energy systems fade and dissolve into this nothingness. See how long and with how much awareness you can sense this nothingness. Infinite expanse of nothingness. You dissolve into nothingness. As you dissolve into nothingness, imagine a wonderful thing is happening. You are becoming enormous. You are dissolving into the infinite space of the void. You are enormous, infinite energy. Your boundaries are falling away, and your energy is expanding at every level into the void. You feel the richness of who you are. Infinite, expanding energy. The void is a place where anything and everything is possible. The void is the point of manifestation. And now, fully expanded into the void, you experience yourself as an infinite being. Now bring this expansiveness this expansive reality of the void back with you into your present reality. Feel yourself coming back into your current reality as a new person. And you might symbolize this by seeing yourself as a beautiful butterfly emerging from your cocoon and spreading your wings. Expansive. Or you might see yourself as a flower unfolding its petals, opening, expansive. Or perhaps you become the raven, stretching out her wings, opening, expanding, so that she may fly. Feel yourself now charged with new possibilities. A high vibration of energy and an expanded awareness of who you are. Bringing this expansiveness, this expansive reality back with you into your present reality. You are charged with new possibilities, a higher frequency of energy, and an expanded awareness of who you are. Take an expansive breath now into the fullness of yourself. Move your fingers and toes and take whatever expansive stretch is appropriate. And you can slowly, in whatever way works, bring yourself back. Hug your knees, rock a little side to side, and roll to one side and come up to sitting. Take your time. And just sit for a moment, knowing that we go into the void so we can expand beyond all previous limits and become a more unlimited version of ourselves. We allow what needs to go, so we are ready for the new. Leave behind what needs to be left behind. And come back anew. And who is older than the night? Only chaos before light, before order, before creation, before all things there is darkness. In her we rest, in her we dream, in her we are refreshed. And from the darkness we rise again to a new life. Mystery comes in the dark, and so do magic and prophecy. Welcome the shadows of your life. Wrap yourself in dark wings and soar again. Namaste.